Hi, this is Joseph Tan here from goodmonday.com. Today we're going to focus on engagement competency. Number 2, are you able to, as a manager, exercise competency over your team members such that the employee says, my manager supports me with what I need to do my work right? In fact, your employee's answer to this question is the strongest indicator on the level of job stress, because job stress has been proven to be directly related whether if the employee has adequate resources to do his or her work in an excellent way. Because without adequate resources, it is a direct correlation of the level of job stress that the employee is facing. When an employee first joins an organization, he is full of enthusiasm. When an employee first joins a team, he really wants to do a good job, and he is looking forward to contributing to the team. But beyond that, his level of enthusiasm is not sustainable if he is not given the right equipment to be able to carry out his job function. In fact, statistics have shown that the sharpest drop in engagement, meaning an employee get disengaged very quickly after 6 months joining the organization. Why? Because at a critical juncture, the employee is not equipped with materials, with information, and things that he or she would need in order to sustain on his level of enthusiasm. So feelings and expectations can only last up to a certain period. Beyond that, the manager needs to step in and to recognize what the employee's needs are and to support him or her with the materials, equipment, and information for job excellence. In fact, when the employee has a sense that the company through the manager backs him up, this is a very powerful psychological motivator, and it pushes or motivates the employee to want to continue to do a good job beyond the initial phase of enthusiasm. While it is true that in order to get the right equipment and materials, there is the need to spend extra money, but we've got to be careful not to be carried away by this exercise called cost cutting. There is actually a limit as to how much cost cutting that we can do, and if we get carried away with this cost cutting mentality, we might cut into the spirit of engagement of the team. The thing is this, as managers, we must be careful not to use cost cutting as a blanket excuse in not wanting to do anything at all for the equipment of the employee. In fact, despite the cost-cutting measure, your level of commitment to the team is reflected on the type of adjustments and accommodation that you are willing to make. And even if the accommodation is a small one, despite the constraint, it does a whole lot to improve the level of engagement in the team. Use your influence to do what you can to show that although the employee might not be able to have the ideal realization of the expectations, you could at least chip in whatever you can do on your part. For example, if not everyone could get the latest laptop, you could come in and use your influence, and perhaps the employee could have a lower spec model, or you could make arrangements for the laptop to be leased instead of purchased. Whatever it is, as the manager, learn to make adjustment. Show the team that you are willing to do something instead of just taking a step back and say, sorry guys, too bad, we got to cost cut, and you cut all the way right into the spirit of engagement. Now, that's not a good thing. In other words, despite budget constraint, please Do not be stingy. Do not be stingy with your time. Do not be stingy with your creativity. Do not be stingy with your resources in order to make a difference. This, whether if it's even if it's a small accommodation, people can sense your spirit of generosity or stinginess. While it is true that we do not micromanage our employee in watching over them and telling them specifically what to do, but trusting them to do their job, we must, however, be sensitive to realize and to notice whether if there are any frustrations or difficulties they are facing in doing their job, because some of these frustrations and stress could be beyond their sphere of control, because some has to do with policies, some has to do with bureaucracy, and they could be distracted by demands from other departments that is encroaching into their area of KPI and so on and so forth. So these are signals that we as a manager need to come in, not to help them in every step of the way, but at least to notice what are some of the issues that is distracting them from doing a good job, and we need to exercise our influence to help them accordingly in these areas, especially if they are issues and measures of safety. So as a manager who rightly engages with the team, you have got to learn how to influence, but not to interfere. Also, how to protect your employee and not to pester. So my manager supports me with what I need to do my work right. So if you want to hear this from the lips of your employee, number one, learn to be supportive. Remember that your employee cannot just go through work based on enthusiasm alone. Enthusiasm can only bring them so far. You need to equip them. You need to come in and make sure they have the resources to do a good job. They want to do a good job. You equip them to do that. Secondly, despite budget constraints, learn to make minor and meaningful adjustment. Demonstrate your willingness to do something about it. You know, in this cost-cutting mentality in the marketplace now, employee gets discouraged very quickly, but you can come in and exercise your authority to do whatever creative adjustments you can do to let your team members know that, hey, I am here, not managing you by remote control, but I have my sleeve folded up and I'm here to chip in to help in whatever way that I can. Now that goes a long way towards creating engagement. Thirdly, be sensitive to issues of safety and frustrations, particularly in areas or in things that are beyond your employee's control. Remember, protect and not pester, influence and not interrogate. So if the employee has a sense that the manager is watching over them, not to nag or to lecture them, but to be able to see areas where it's getting out of control, and you step in with your influence to help, and that provides a very strong sense of stability for them to know that, hey, I am here wanting to do a good job and my manager supports me towards this direction. And at the end of the day, you create engagement in a very practical way. Then you're well on your way in creating the sustainable results that you're looking for in the first place. This is Joseph Tan here from goodmonday.com. Thanks for watching.